Joining me now is Fox News senior strategic analyst and chairman of the Institute for the Study of War, General Jack Keane. General, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for weighing in on all of these important issues. But I want to get your take on an even bigger issue here, potentially, and that is what's happening in foreign affairs in this country relative to the rest of the world, particularly our adversaries. Vladimir Putin ordered the Russian army to become the second largest army in the world, only after China's, which is 1.5 million strong. When I mean military, not just army. China and Russia holding the largest war game since the Soviet era, wrapping up a week of joint air and naval drills. The Russian Defense Ministry confirming another joint training operation will begin, including 90,000 troops, 400 warships and submarines, 120 aircraft across multiple oceans. The State Department sounding the alarm on Chinese support for Russia, saying Beijing has crossed a line, providing, quote, very substantial support to replenish the Kremlin's military stockpiles. Xi Jinping confirmed he is visiting Russia next month for the BRICS Economic Summit. This is his second visit since Russia invaded Ukraine. But, General, I mean, how nervous or scared should we be by the fact that China and Russia have serious plans, okay? Russia says it wants to be the largest military behind China's. Now, we know that the U.S. is the largest military, but China is investing big time, as you've made the point many times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Congressional Commission and I was on for 20 months, bipartisan, delivered a report a few weeks ago that laid this out in some degree of detail. And the fact is that China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea collectively are presenting the most significant threat to the United States since we have faced in World War II. And that's a heck of a statement to be making. And we believe we have the evidence to back it up. And here you're just displaying more of the evidence. They are dead serious. They have become more aggressive in the last 3 or 4 years. And why is that? Because they believe the United States is politically weak and can be taken advantage of. And they're seeking opportunity here. This exercise is obviously helping to train them in how they would actually fight together. But it's also sending a loud message to our allies and partners in the region that they are going to impose their will. And they have been doing that in the Indo-Pacific region. Obviously, Putin is doing it in Europe. Iran is doing it in the Middle East. And we got to wake up. This is dead serious. This is a dangerous threat. It's real, and it's out there, and they're coming for us. And we've got to make certain that we're confronting them. And what do? We have defense budgets that are flatlined for inflation. Does that make any sense when we're so far behind in our capacity matched against theirs? It makes no sense whatsoever in terms of what we're doing. Well, and the administration will not tell the American people how serious this threat really is.
Yeah, very, very disturbing, sir. And, you know, Newt Gingrich had a good idea the other day, saying just focus on defense spending right now. Okay, let's get through the budget deadline by putting out real numbers on defense spending and making sure that this is the appropriate number, given, again, the level of threat, right? Talking about the level of threat for President Trump, the level of threat for America right now. And it is getting worse and more concerning when you see these actors, China and Russia, getting closer and closer. And then, of course, there's Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared a new goal of returning tens of thousands of displaced Israelis to the north of the country after evacuations near the border with Lebanon. Israel's defense minister said that the only way is through military action, General, and a ceasefire will become less likely if Hezbollah continues to tie itself to Hamas. The U.S. is warning Israel not to escalate the fight with Hezbollah, though, reportedly saying that it would set off a broader regional conflict and worsen the conflict in Gaza. Yemen's Houthi rebels, you know, claimed that they shot down another American-made MQ-9 Reaper drone yesterday, one day after the terrorist group fired a missile at central Israel. The missile did not strike its target and no casualties were reported, but Israel says it tried to down it with its air defense systems, but the missile slipped through with partial damage, General. So we've got that situation worsening as well.
Yeah, and what's happening here, so our viewers understand, on October the 8th, one day after the massacre and barbaric actions of Hamas on October the 7th, Hezbollah began to fire into northern Israel. And they've been firing into northern Israel with artillery, mortars, rockets, and missiles every single day since that time. That has forced the evacuation of some 80,000 Israelis that live in that area. and the government is taking care of most of them in terms of financing temporary lodging. But the reality is, while a diplomatic solution has been attempted for months and months here so that there would be a ceasefire in the north, the Israeli cabinet has had to deal with this issue, and they have voted that if there is no diplomatic solution, in other words, where Hezbollah will pull their resources back across the Litani River and no longer pose a threat so that the Israelis can move back into the region, if that doesn't happen and time is running out, the Israeli administration has made the decision that they will have to conduct military operations to force Hezbollah out. If they don't do that, Maria, then Hezbollah has redefined the border of Israel.
Right.
And that cannot stand. And we wouldn't want that to stand in our country, and Israelis are not going to let that stand either. And everybody's wringing their hands and saying, well, no, we don't want the war expanded. But this is on the back of the Iranians who control Hezbollah. They call the shots here. And all they have to do is issue one order and tell them to move back, and they will move back. But if they don't move back voluntarily, the Israelis have no choice but conduct a military operation and force them back.
Right. I mean, the U.S. likes to tell Israel what to do, and yet there's no deterrence whatsoever from the U.S. when it comes to Iran. It's absolutely outrageous. General, we so appreciate your insights, as always, sir. Thank you.
Great talking, Maria, as always.
And to you.